Right, sports fans, welcome back to You've Got to Go, joined by myself, Matt Stonia, and Ben Patterson. Our third member is currently just entered his final hour in London with IMG. I think he's actually doing a post in the works for the new signing for Spurs, Mohamed Kudus, because Luke is, Spurs are one of Luke's clients now, so I can't wait to see that on the Instagram, but enough about him.
Well, to be fair, if he's got if he does the same stuff that he does for us, like how he spelled Phoebe wrong, he'll spell Mohammed or Kudos wrong, won't he?
Well, he's told me that he's planning on doing a little, I don't know if we can give it away here, but I think he wanted to do a Strava X Spurs collab for the signing of Mohamed Kudus and use the term kudos and make like some Strava art or something with his name or something. So I think he thought that was going to pop off, but I'm not really sure it's the football vibe Strava, but hey, let his imagination run wild. But yeah, it's been quite a while since our last pod. We're a 3-man team now. We are still a 3-man team. We had a few questions about, is Luke gone for good? Is he going to make any appearances? We'll try, but like he's a London lad now, working 9 till 6. So and then when he's not working, he's getting ready for London, which we'll talk about in a bit. But you have been getting on the track recently. A couple races, everyone's seen.
Yeah.
Can't hide from it anymore, mate. 2 under your belt already.
I know it doesn't feel like I should be racing. It doesn't feel like track season. It's weird, but you know what? Like stepping on that start line, it did feel good.
Well, I bet it was cool.
Well, until I got massively humbled in the first race and just decided to front run it, but 5 minutes behind everyone else.
Yeah. I couldn't watch the actual race, and then you sent it to us about 10 minutes afterwards. Whenever you get a Snapchat from someone, if you send Snapchat to the group, like immediately after a race, it's either the best race of your life or the worst race of your life. Because if it's just a bog standard race, like you don't really care. But yeah, we thought it was probably the latter, but watched it back. What did you think what did you think you were going to run going into it?
Honestly, I had no idea. Like I did a good 600 the week before. But it's been weird training. Like I've probably got 6 weeks of training under my belt, but it's not been any of it's like not been full training.
Yeah.
So it's not like I've been doing 18 miles a week because of my shins. So it's like if I had 6 weeks of training, I'd back myself to go quick. But it's not been like a normal 6 weeks. I thought anything between 150 and 144 was possible, right? Depending on the race.
Yeah.
So I'd say we were nicely in the middle of that.
Yeah. Luke and I said anything sub 146 would have been dream start. That's just shows how crazily talented you are and just how you can just pull it out of the bag. And then we said anything outside 148 you might be a little bit disappointed with. And the probably with that you'd probably end up being last because the standard of the race is quite high. But I think it's just about getting back out on the track, isn't it? Getting that feeling again of traveling, warming up, having cool rooms, taking bicarb, not sleeping the night after, like all that sort of that feeling that you forget because you only have it, in summer.
Yeah.
So I guess from that it will just, and the race itself will bring you on because you can't replicate a race at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that the good thing was I finished the race and was like, oh, that just felt like a rep in training.
Yeah.
If I'd around 147, come dead last, and would have been like knackered, throwing up, all of that, I would have been a lot more worried. But I was like, okay, that's probably the worst I could have ran today. So for that to be 147, you take it.
It just looked like your legs weren't really moving.
No, yeah.
Like it just looked like, and then you got kind of dropped from the pack, but then it didn't get any worse. You didn't like pop 200 to go and cruise home in like a 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It was just constantly like 2 or 3 meters off the back.
I just couldn't get in a rhythm at all. Yeah. Like, I felt like I was constantly chasing a slightly uncomfortable feeling, but it didn't get worse than that. And I was like, oh.
To be fair, it was good to see you making it 100 look hard. It made everyone, it at least made me realise yeah, 800s aren't actually that easy. Because when you just watch people run 142 day in, day out on the TV, you're thinking this event's too easy. So nice of you to humble the event a bit. But moved straight on to Rouen.
Rouen, which is a lovely city, town.
Yeah, well, I had a bone to pick with Ben because the Tour de France finished in Rouen the day Ben left. So all he had to do was wait around an extra 4 or 5 hours, and you could have watched. I could have watched, and it was an amazing stage as well.
Was it?
Not that you care, but yeah, they were saying on the Tour de France how beautiful the city is.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
the cathedrals nice? and stuff were just. Because my parents came out to these races as well.
Oh wow!
Just weekend away in France. Probably because they didn't think I'd make a start line this year. They thought we'll definitely lock these in just in case. So I walked around Rouen, had lunch with them 2 days out from the race, and yeah, it's just a very historical town. I can imagine Max Bergen enjoyed that.
Good to you taking in a bit of culture.
Yeah,
that's impressive for you.
There was actually there's like a square in the middle of town,
right?
Where they used to slaughter people, and they had all the wood from back in the day. It had like skull and crossbones everywhere, and like daggers and that on it. And in the corner there was this bit of glass, and behind it was just a cat that had died, probably I don't even know how many years ago, 200-300 years ago. And it was just like a petrified cat, and it was just like such a weird thing to have. I was just like,
it's French, isn't it?
It's French. It's very French.
Was it? Did you see anything about Joan of Arc?
Yeah.
There's a Joan of Arc museum there, isn't there?
Very heavily Joan of Arc.
Didn't go to the museum.
No, unfortunately not.
You were racing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And raced better.
I did.
Yeah.
Although the results don't really show that.
You did lose to
Callum Dodds, yes. But he's had a full winter, so we'll allow him.
Well, some will say he probably hasn't, but he's had more of a winter than you have, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he sat on me and outkicked me, which, fair play to him. It's the first time he's ever had anti-doping, and he was just like, oh, what do I do?
Piss in a cup and pray for the best.
Yeah.
But you knocked off half a second already from 147 down to 146.5. 466, sorry. And then also knocked off from coming last to what? Third last.
Yeah, I mean, this race, because on the first race I just didn't get involved. I thought, I don't care what happens, first 200 I just want to make sure I'm there. So I did that, and I was in first at 200, which I thought, okay, Didn't
go out too hard?
Definitely not. I thought I've not lost my touch. I can still get involved in a race. French fella came round me, probably 300 in, probably because I didn't want to commit to the pace, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be leading it for everyone. So then I just sat on him. I thought 300 to go. I thought, let's kick now. Like my body, took a step round. And I was like, let's just kick now. And then I thought, actually, if I kick now, I'm not making the finish line, because 300 out is a long way home. So
when you're running 18 miles a week for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah. So I moved back, tucked in, and I thought everyone would come past at 200 to go, but they didn't. And then it was probably like the last 80 to 50, I kind of just fell apart a bit. But it was a very weird track. Like, I kept going off balance. Like, I kept falling into the rail, and I just thought, it's because I've not raced in a while, or I've got something wrong. But then speaking to Tom Keane and Rick Van Riel after the race, they said the exact same thing.
Yeah, but you can't trust Tom Keane when it comes to racing.
No,
the blokes can't stand up in a single race.
But the fact I didn't even say that to him, he said it straight away, and I was like, okay, there must have been something with the track.
Yeah.
But overall, the race, there was a lot of 144 guys in there that all ran 146. Everyone was 2 seconds down.
Take that.
I
saw the meeting record actually wasn't that quick.
Yeah.
So I thought, I wonder if that's got anything to do with the slightly slow track. Whereas I know the Nancy one is quite a quick event, or at least a track. But yeah, help for the confidence the second one, or
massively.
Do you reckon you got a bit dented after the first one, or it was more just right? At least I know where I'm at now. Can go from here.
I think after the first one, I was just thinking, right, if that happens again, then that's probably just the shape I'm in.
Yeah.
But if I go and step up and actually get involved in the race, And obviously the time, there wasn't much of a jump, but like I said, I beat the guy that won in Poznan who ran 1:44.2. So it's like I'm there or thereabouts with a lot of 1:44 guys. It's just,
and racing in France, apart from the Diamond League, you don't hear about many. You don't hear about crazy times out of French races.
No, Marseille's probably one of the best. But
yeah, but it seems to be more Germany, Poland.
Yeah,
but that might just be the way it goes. But yeah, little your own Tour de France.
I know.
So where do you reckon out of 10 for the first race, and then out of 10 for the second race?
I'd say a 1 for the first race. Like,
okay,
it couldn't have gone worse.
All right.
I'll probably say 6 or a 7 for the second one. The performance
Big
was
jump.
there.
Yeah, you take that.
But
in 3 days.
Yeah.
In 3 days, you can't argue that. Also had Reagator out there.
Yeah. Drove over for the second one and drove back Tuesday morning.
You must have had more support than anyone else there.
Yeah, I know.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Poor from Molly not coming out though.
Yeah. I mean,
hey, there's plenty of other races she can go to Tokyo when you go there. So
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
And
then next up, little bit of a jump in caliber, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I
don't get nervous, but
after the first race, I can be quoted as saying, "If I run like that at London, I'm gonna get lapped," because they're probably gonna run 1:41, 1:42 in London.
It's gonna be a 1:42, isn't it? It just is.
Could be 1:41. Depends who's in it.
Do you know? Not know.
Don't know.
All right.
But yeah, so London Diamond League up next,
and that's in 9 days.
9 days, yeah. So straight in the deep end.
Yeah, but I from my maths, you've improved by half a second in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So over the next 9 days, that's half a second 3 times, which is 1.5 seconds, plus the half a second. So that's 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So you're from 1:47 to 1:45 dead. Plus, it's in the London Stadium. That's an extra second. That's 1:44 dead. Plus, give me something here.
I'll probably do more than 18 miles this week.
Yeah, so that's another second. So all of a sudden, we're 1:43 dead, and then you're right in the mixer.
Yeah, I'll probably win it actually.
Yeah, that would eclipse Neil Gawley's. What was it? 3:47 first race back in the pre-classic last year.
I was thinking of that on the start line of the first race, and then when I finished, I just thought, "How's he done that?"
It makes you think, "How's he done that?"
Yeah,
but
Zwift's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, Zwift. Yeah. Oh well, I'm in massive trouble then. But yeah, it's a good. It's great to see you back out there. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and like there was definitely a point where I thought I wouldn't be racing this year. So
100%.
Even like I finished the first race, I was pretty gutted, but I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Mate, you where you want to be. You're sitting alone in hotels by yourself, eating plain rice and pasta and chicken. What more could you ask for?
I was alone actually because my roommate decided to leave me.
Yeah, can we hear a bit more about this?
Yeah, so I was sharing with a Moroccan athlete. Not the chattiest bloke, but thought we got on all right.
That made 2 of you at least.
Yeah, and then so first night, I think all fine. Only thing is I put the aircon on in the middle of the night because I woke up sweating because it was 37 degrees. Yeah. I think that's probably fair enough.
It's mad because the one thing I said to you about Nantes was how hot it was.
Yeah.
And the first thing you said was like, it's well hot here.
Yeah. Luckily it dropped after that. It was only about 25 for the other few days.
Yeah,
so then I go down for breakfast the following morning and one of the meet organisers comes up to me and goes, "Oh, your roommate's asked to switch rooms. Is there anyone else you want to share with?" And I was like looking down this. I was like, just go with anyone. And then he didn't move out till 10:30 that evening. So I was just like, it's like you're just sitting in your bed, and I was like, is he gonna leave or is he not leaving? But didn't say a word.
But you knew he was in there, and he'd asked to.
Yeah. But then about 9 o'clock, I noticed his suitcase wasn't in there anymore.
Right.
So I think he was slowly moving stuff out.
Didn't want to make it too obvious.
Yeah, and then just 10:30, just got up and left, didn't say a word. So it was quite nice. Had my own room for 2 nights.
Did you? You didn't have anyone else?
No.
Wow, so no one wanted to room with you?
No. I mean, What can I say?
Yeah.
My reputation precedes me.
Yeah, it's tough that.
But he was hanging around with a girl for the rest of
Was
the
he?
Hopefully his wife at home's listening to this, and that's not her.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm assuming she probably moved in with her.
What distance was it? Was he in
800?
Well,
yeah.
oh, he was in the
yeah,
800. So he beat you.
Yeah, I think he came second in the first race and won the other race. So he's proper handed it to me there. But
yeah, that's a shame. But
he did also.
He's also probably had a better winter than you. So
yeah, it was after the first race. I was speaking to one of the. It was the Algerian guy in my race actually. Good bloke. He was, oh yeah, I was injured over winter. I had to take 13 days off in January. I was like, all right, yeah, similar actually. I was just thinking, mate, shut up. Mate. That's just like
you just say you had a good winter, don't you?
Yeah, 13 days off.
Yeah. Hey, when you get injured, your perspective is perspective's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But and then Rouen, because a lot of people don't really know what it's like when you go to all these races, and you have to be pretty good at keeping your own company, which you are pretty good at. I say I'm alright at. You're probably better. Hence why I just try and do every race that you do, but then you're quite a bit better than me. But were you sat alone for your meals, or did you manage to shake out with anyone?
So, fellow South African, Ryan.
He's such a good guy.
was at both races. So, yeah, just so
he's
good.
He's a fellow Adidas.
He's a great bloke, actually.
Did you mention me to him?
Yeah, of course I did. It's the first thing I said. He was asking after you.
Oh, bless him. Bless him. Yeah, told him I'd passed away. Yeah, he's a good guy, to be fair. It must be weird for them coming over. That must be a big, a big deal.
So after the second race, I was just thinking, I can't be bothered to travel back. And then I was speaking to him. He's like, yeah, so I've got a 6-hour flight to like Ethiopia or somewhere, and then another 6-hour flight with an hour and a half layover. Yeah, but he's like, he does it like, he comes here, races for 2 weeks, goes back for like 5 days, then comes back. But I was just like, I don't know how you do it.
He's not got anywhere to stay, I'm guessing, which is a shame. And I guess they don't have loads of money, especially you come to Europe and it's so much more expensive. But this is Ryan Filele.
Yeah, I wasn't going to attempt it.
South African 1500 meter runner who I met in South Africa at the South African National Champs in 22. And then turned up. Sorry about that. And then
Mike Stonia.
Yeah, that was Mike Stonia.
See on your watch.
And then turned up at Commies with him there, and then got to know him quite well there, and then the year after. But yeah, unfortunately, I haven't seen him for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And then in Rouen, you obviously had Tom Keane,
Nathaniel, Mitchell Blake, Rick Van Riel. Rick or Robin?
I don't know, you were the one with him.
No, Robin.
Yeah,
it was Robin.
Right. Tough. I hope they're not listening.
Well, you said Rick, and I've corrected you to Robin,
right.
So I knew who it was.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, I was just chatting to him about the big head-to-head, Neil versus Nielsen. Is it? What's his? Stefan Nielsen. Yeah, Neil versus Nielsen.
At what?
At the pre-classic. Because the first race was just before, and the second race was just after. So I was asking him who he thinks was going to win out of those two, and he said Neil's in good shape. Yeah. He was right.
He's not wrong there, is he? Right. Well, you can touch on it then, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's not seen that race, it's one of those ones I've seen the results before I've watched it, because it was on about 11:30.
Yeah.
We were in bed by then.
Yeah, of course.
So I've woke up, seen the results, and I thought, oh, that looks like a good race. So I've watched it. And with a lap to go, I'm like, oh, did I read those results right? And then with 150 to go, I was like, I've definitely read those results
that
wrong.
last 100 it's silly. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's a combination of Nagus
dying, died, but still,
and
Neil's still got to come through.
Yeah.
I saw the results about 20 minutes after spending 3 hours in a police station. So it just put an extra dagger through the heart. Yeah, no, kudos to Niels. That's
Yeah,
like
I mean the movie made at 4:50 to go. He was in lane 4, and it's very similar to how he raced Paris. I think he just made a big move there, but just managed to hold on.
And mate, he's doing the 5K double at under 23s. And then Nielsen's doing the 53K steeple double.
Has he ever done a steeple before? Not that I've known.
To be honest, mate, he can just step over it.
Yeah,
like,
true.
For him,
it's like a wicket for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nothing. So Barnico versus Laros in the 5K. I've had a couple combos with Barnico on how he's going to attack it.
Sitting kick, eh?
Probably sort of just hold on for as long as you can, and if you got anything left, try. But there's no shame in losing to Laros, is there?
Yeah. What else was on at Pre? There was the women's 5K world record.
Yeah.
Sub 14 for the first time ever.
Yeah, and we should probably touch on oh my gosh, what was her name?
Who are you thinking
of? 15 runner.
What, Georgia Bell?
No, the world record holder.
Oh, Faith Kipyegon.
Faith. Oh my gosh, Faith.
Yeah, I couldn't remember her name either.
That's us done. That's us cancelled.
It's one of those ones where you just go blank.
Yeah, you just. We should touch on that. Well, she's the one world record.
She's wasted everyone's time, and then a week later she's redeemed herself.
Yeah, she's she's ran a world record at Pre after running. Well, she's run a world record in the breaking 4. What did you think of the event? We haven't touched on it.
I mean, the event looked decent. I think it would have been better to have it more competitive. So rather than just Faith just running.
Yeah.
Because she's ran 4:07 in a normal race. But then she's around 4:06.5 with all this fuss. And it's like, realistically, was she ever going to go sub 4? I don't think so.
That's the thing. Anyone who really knows the sport knows knocking 6 seconds off your own world record is almost unimaginable. And I think, especially over 4 laps, you can have all the paces and the weather and the shoes and the skin suit, but that's when you're running 4:01, 4:02, and you're shaving half a second off. You're not shaving 6 seconds off just by wearing a skin suit. But the event looked really cool, and I think it's more just to advertise how amazing she is.
Yeah,
because she is the Elliot Kipchoge of the female running scene, and she's got enough accolades that I think this almost like, when people say it's breaking 4 and then she doesn't do it, and people almost go, oh, well, that was a bit of a letdown. It's like, well, she's still run the fastest mile time ever by a female. So you've got to put it into perspective and realise how much better she is than everyone. But it's not to say that no woman's going to do it eventually, but I think 4:06 isn't. Yeah. It's not like you're knocking on the door in a year or two, personally.
No, it's probably 20, 30 years. But when they do break it, they'll be able to look and say, this is where it started. Yeah. Faith Kipyegon. So
because you look legacy at the Elliot one, the Nike one, what was he, 25 seconds off?
Yeah,
so over a marathon, you're thinking, he can do this.
It's a second a mile.
But 6 seconds a lap. And the thing is, she was actually on pace after 2 laps.
She gave it a good go, didn't she?
Yeah, it was. I found it really funny how it was a bit interesting with all the paces and everything. I'm not quite sure. It'd be interesting to hear from Georgia or Gemma what their role was, apart from just running 2 laps behind her.
I think it was something to do with breaking up the wind behind her.
And then it was interesting to see how she asked for Grant Fisher to be the one who was next to her. Yeah. Because out of everyone in that race, he's so smooth. He's just, if there was anyone you want running next to you, it probably is Grant Fisher.
Yeah.
And then you had the big wind block on the front. Elliot on the front. But he was probably the biggest build in the race. Yeah. It was interesting how he was on the front and then kicked with the lap to go.
I was going to say, he was about 50 metres clear at one point. I thought...
He's
on for a PB. Yeah,
he was worrying Faith was going to come charging past him. But I think it would have been nice to see a few more women in the race to also show how good Faith is, because obviously the disparity between the men and the women, the men were sort of like jogging.
Just jogging, yeah.
And obviously she was flat out, and it felt a bit, seeing the men slow down and almost cheer her on whilst they were jogging next to her, almost made it look a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It made it a bit of a.
You'd almost want women taking a lap each.
Yeah.
To
and
show
just
that
to
she
show
is
how hard it is.
probably
yeah.
4 times as good as them, or you want someone 100 meters behind her, flat out. Yeah.
But no, fair play to her, and I think Nike obviously saw it as a big marketing event or whatever. Which, like, why wouldn't you? So, yeah, I think it was good for her to get her opportunity.
Yeah.
And I guess she's now the front and center of the women's league. The women's only league that starts up. I mean, I don't know when because we won't be competing. But
yeah, I mean, if it was men's only, I'm not sure it'd be allowed. So
yeah, it's an interesting.
If I speak,
yeah. Well, let's see if it goes any better than Grand Slam.
Yeah.
But yeah, London this weekend. We got a bit sidetracked there, didn't we? It's the biggest event in the British athletics calendar for me. Who's doing it? Bergen
it's not out yet.
No, but do you know any of the other 8 guys doing it?
Last time I spoke to Bergen, he said he wasn't in yet, which is interesting.
Well, he's going to take a place off you when he runs 141 in Monaco.
Well, I'm assuming he's probably already got a place.
Yeah. It's also the Emsley car.
Wow.
There, which brings back some memories. Not that I ran it there, but it'd be interesting seeing.
Hopefully, less people in it this year because last few years
or not.
There's been some collisions affecting the Brits, which is what you don't want to see.
I'm still not sure. I'll have to hear from the sports fans if I should go or not. Would you like me there? Because it is sold out, but I can get tickets off people. But I don't know. I want to come watch the boys. And we've heard from Luke that he's still on Operation Diamond League. He's churning out sessions around Battersea Park with all the runfluencers.
In lane 3.
Yeah, he was going crazy about the fact he had to run in lane 3 the other day. So he'll be there, you'll be there, both racing. But there's something about, like, you know, it's hard going to watch. But I don't know. We'll see. I think I'll almost feel bad if I don't come and watch, but I'll be sat there going, "Oh, I wish I wasn't here."
The thing is, you're going to be sat at home knowing it's on.
Yeah.
Either way.
Well, I've said I'm either going to be there or out of the country. There's no, it's got to be either or.
They're the only 2 options.
Yeah. And then I've heard there's a big night out in London afterwards, which I will not be participating in.
So I might be, depending on how it goes. If it's a 153 or 143, I'm there.
Okay, what have you got to run to be there?
I'm not going. Week before British Champs.
Yeah. Is it a week before?
I think it's 2 weeks.
Yeah. Sensible. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think then if I'm in London, you get, dragged in. I don't want to be there. Probably shouldn't be there. So anyway, we'll see. But that's not for anyone else to worry about. But yeah, that'll be good. That will be interesting to see. Hopefully, we're going to get a YouTube video out of it.
Yeah, is there any progress on that?
Yeah, we'll keep it away from the sports fans. There's something behind the scenes, hopefully sort it out for that. But I think it's harder to get access there than usual.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, you want to talk a little bit about you?
Not particularly.
We'll start off in France.
Should we start off? Well, yeah.
I was going to say we'll start with
what should we start with?
Start off in France.
Yeah. So, not many people have seen it because I can understand. No one likes cycling like I do. But yeah, I went to go watch the start of the Tour de France. It was literally an hour from home across the channel.
Swam?
Aquajogged. I thought about aquajogging, but I left my belt in Loughborough. So I thought maybe not. But yeah, went to go watch 3 stages. It was good fun, actually. Apart from...
Take your bikes over?
Yeah, me and my dad took our bikes over. Then went to go watch the end of the stage 1 in Lille. And honestly, the feeling... You've come back from spending 3 hours in Lille, so not ages. Watched the end, had a lovely dinner. You come back and you see the car. And you don't see any bikes on the bike rack, and you're thinking, I've walked there and I've seen it first, and I've gone, huh. And you're thinking, did we take them off? Like, we must have taken them off. And I've gone, there's no bikes on the bike rack. And then I've literally just repeated it and gone, there's no bites on the bike rack. And I've just done the Luke Nuttall head in hands, just gone, oh my day, like, you can't believe it. Almost fallen to the floor. Almost started crying. But yeah, bikes got stolen.
So they were locked just on the bike rack.
Locked on the bike rack. The guys had cut the locks and then forced open the lock on the frame. But this was like the main station car park in broad daylight. The car park was full. Like it
no CCTV.
No shot. But it was one of those. We all got out of the car and left the car thinking, no one thought, oh, this is a bit dodgy. You know, sometimes you go somewhere and you think, I've got a bad feeling about this. That, you know, that sixth sense.
Loughborough High Street.
Yeah, you know, if you left your car literally down any of the side roads in Loughborough overnight with a bike on, you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure about this. But it just fell in daylight. We weren't gone for ages. The car park was full. There were people around. It just didn't feel like we were wrong, obviously.
Yeah, very wrong.
So yeah, had to go to the police station, file a report, all for insurance stuff. Yeah. Thankfully, I had bike insurance.
Yeah.
Still waiting to hear back from them though. So
seeing what your budget is for your next bike.
Well, I think that brings us on very nicely onto where I'm at. Because had my final intervention on Monday, just gone with so I was seeing James Calder, who
Tuesday, wasn't it?
Tuesday even. Every day just blends into one.
It's one long weekend.
Yeah, when you're not training, you don't have track session day, tempered. It's just all the same. I had my final intervention with Doc, the British Athletics Doc, Chris and Sonia, and James Calder, who's like
the expert.
He's the top dog, really.
Yeah.
Once you've expended every avenue, he's the last point of contact because he will sort it. So yeah, turns out I need to get surgery on my foot, which I think I kind of expected it, but it obviously still hits. But it's more just, in some ways, there's a relief of clarity. Definitely. That I have an answer, and it's also a relief of everything I've tried to do to help it and help it get better, and it hasn't. I now know that, there was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
Like spending an hour every day for about 3 weeks in the hyperbaric. I've just lost 15 hours of my life thinking this is going to get better, when realistically, like, I was doing it obviously to try and help it, and you almost mentally kid yourself into, I'm doing everything I can. But
yeah, it's what you have to do.
Unfortunately, there's nothing I could have been doing. So yeah, surgery on the foot. Unfortunately, I have to wait about 4 weeks because, being top dog, you've obviously got other commitments, and I think every other person wants James Calder. So
it's probably that time of year where people are thinking, get stuff sorted.
He's going to be busy. So and he's the person that I'd like to do it. I know he did Eddie Baker's recent surgery. He did Jake Hayward's. I saw Josh Seller yesterday, and he did his, and his is looking good. So I'm in good hands. But yeah, it's not obviously what I wanted, but it's just an answer. In terms of what the issue is, I mean, I don't entirely know. It was all explained because I went for a SPEC CT scan the other week, which is a radioactive scan. So you get injected with some radioactive dye. It goes to areas of the body where there's inflammation. They scan it. And then he showed me the photos the other day of, it shows the area where it's, brightly coloured from the radioactive dye. So the doc explained it as, so on the edge of the navicular joint / bone with the talus, he basically said, imagine a shark's just come and taken a bite out of your, this is doctor language, this.
Is this Dr. James Brown?
Yeah, brilliant. Obviously. Imagine a shark's come and taken a bite through your joint into the bone, and it's a little hole now in where the bone meets the joint, and the fluid from the joint has essentially gone into that hole. So it's like a little crater in the bone, and it's filled with fluid. So every time that I push off through the ball of my foot basically every time I run or every time I use any force through it. It's compressing against the bone, the fluid,
Right.
and it just causes pain. So that's why, I've just been, walking around in like 1 or 2 out of 10 pain for the last like 2-3 months. But anytime that force goes up, the pressure's obviously a lot more.
Yeah.
So anytime I go into sort of jog, whatever, it's immediately 6-7 out of 10 pain. And that's every stride.
Yeah.
You can't run like that.
No.
I've run enough like that to know
Yeah.
it's just not the way
There's
to
some
go.
pains you can run
Yeah.
through, but
And they said it's like water in a crater. It's not going to go anywhere. So the only way to go in is to go in, scrape. Basically, they scrape it out, the fluid.
just get a straw,
And
surely.
then just put the sun on it and it'll evaporate.
Yeah.
I reckon. And then they basically fill up the crater from the bottom up and fill it with they said like cement, but apparently they go into my hip, take some bone marrow out of my hip, and then that causes the bone marrow stimulation when they insert it into there. It's all a bit. That's where it gets a bit complicated. That I wasn't really able to understand.
Want to think too much
at
about
that point, hopefully I'm fast asleep. I won't be
Yeah.
knowing what's going on. And then fingers crossed that sort of does the job. But it wasn't great when James Corder goes, yeah, well, these are very rare. I've only dealt with a handful of these. It's not something that I deal with. If it was a stress fracture, it'd be easy. And I'm thinking, it's not what you want, like the best of the best to be saying when it's really rare. But
at least, he's had a handful of them, and you go to someone else, they've probably never even done it.
Yeah.
So.
And then in terms of me after that, it's going to be, I've been told, about 4 months.
Wow.
Because I've got to basically allow the bone to regrow.
Yeah.
Which includes 2 to 3 weeks. It's the classic 2 to 3 weeks of non-weight bearing, then 2 weeks of partial weight bearing.
Yeah.
Then you do 2 to 3 weeks of just learning to walk, basically. Then you do 3 weeks in the pool. Then you do 2 to 3 weeks, and then before you know it,
I'll send you my program. We'll get you in 147 shape
by
Christmas.
I think I've got a few programs to go off. But yeah, so the aim is to try and run by, let's not look too far ahead, but to be in a position by the 1st of sort of December where I can hopefully maybe go for a little jog.
Yeah.
And then look forward to 2026. But I was just telling people, it just feels like these last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean,
it always, I think for the last year, it's almost felt like it was always going to end in something like this. Some sort of operation procedure that just completely draws the line. And I almost feel like I feel like I'm going to be starting a new life. A lot's happened in the last 2 years, and now I've got a house and finished Loughborough, and other people do whatever they're doing, and it feels like this is almost needed to just end everything,
just
reset, and it's almost like the start of a new book.
Just getting yourself out of the rut, almost.
Yeah, leave everything that's happened in the past there, and we'll start afresh, which is hard because you can look back on stuff and think, oh, this was great, but I guess it comes to the point where this is the end of hopefully the suffering. It's been a long 2 years, and I've definitely learned a lot, and it's been awful, and I've been through definitely the hardest 2 years of my life, and that's just the running, like not even everything else. But I think the doc was really nice. Yes, he was like, just try and keep a smile on your face. That's all you can ask for. And he was very kind. He was like, you're still talented, you're still young, and we still believe in you. Which was nice to hear, because you do have those doubts yourself. Because you hear a lot of people who do have surgery and then they're not able to come back, or you miss 2 years and you're just not quite the same person, which can happen, and hopefully it doesn't. But I'll do everything I can. I think also being out so long has given me when I'm able to start again, it will. Every run will be such a joy. Like I will never take any run for granted, at least for a year or two. Like I don't care if it's 0 degrees pissing down with rain. Like I'm going to be so excited to just went for a walk, ran outwards this morning with Sam, who left the house for the first time in like weeks. I was like, Ours is lovely.
Yeah.
I was like,
We just take it for
we
granted,
run around
don't we?
here and it's just, oh, why there's so many hills? Why is it muddy? Blah, blah, blah. But now I'm walking around there this morning going, oh, what I'd do to just do a couple laps around here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely a lot of change of perspective. And even Charlotte Dannett, who, big fan, said, Matt, I think you've actually become a lot nicer person. Which I was like,
I disagree with that, actually.
How bad was I? But I think I've definitely learned a lot, and I think I have actually changed a bit and just learned to be a bit more empathetic and understanding. And it's definitely on reflection of, everything went so well for me, and you got fed on a silver platter or whatever they call it, but
silver
spoons.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I feel like I've had the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And everything's gone wrong. And even, I was speaking to Izzy yesterday, and even, it even in my position, I'm still fortunate to, have this help and to have some good friends still about, and, have a good family and everything. I just want to touch on Kira.
Yes.
Which, like I was saying to Izzy, I said, some people will have a bad session, and they'll be grumpy for the day or for the evening, and have a bad race, and they'll, cry about it, that their life's rubbish. And then, then there's Sam who falls off his bike and needs surgery, and then there's me who's had 2 years, and then, you just get totally dwarfed when you see, someone so young, and fit and healthy get cancer, and especially when they seem like, I've only met her a few times, but she's always so bubbly.
Yeah.
And as you would say, she still is. Yeah. Which is incredible.
Just must be so tough, that.
Yeah, and you just totally dwarfed in.
Yeah.
In
that's the thing. This sport, you expect injuries.
Yeah.
But something like that. I remember.
It's beyond anything, isn't it?
I was sulking after my race.
Yeah.
And I've seen that, and I've just. Yeah. It just puts life into perspective, doesn't it? That you gotta.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it while you can.
So we're sending our best wishes to Kira.
Yeah, definitely.
Her partner, her family, and anyone who's good friends with her. I mean, we met her. Did you meet her in San Marino?
She helped me with the washing machine because you told me false instructions. She gave me all the coins and basically did my washing for me.
So thanks for helping Ben's washing. But yes, all our thoughts go to her. Obviously, it's a tough time, but yeah, and like I said, that's what I mean. Those little things. Stuff changes. So yeah, we'll try and move on from. It's important to, I think, talk about it all, and hopefully, I'll be in a better position in a month's time.
I think the fact that you've been through this, and the fact that you've still kept up all the cross training, you're going to get through this. You're going to be a much better athlete on the other side of it because you've gone through this.
Yeah, that's partly what keeps me motivated. It's like, I want to try and see what I can do with all of this. Basically all these new powers of like getting through everything.
Yeah.
Of dealing with all the
because that's the thing. Like previously, you start to hurt in a session. It's that fight or flight, isn't it? There's no way you're going, I'll just take it easy from now. Yeah. You're going to be so grateful.
That's going to be my issue. I'm going to have to take it too easy because I'm just going to be too excited. But that's still a long way away. I'm still going to be sat on the sofa at home asking for breakfast, lunch and dinner to be good for me because I can't move. But you know what it's like with a non-weight bearing. It's just, you're better off just lying down because anything's just so much effort. So I'll have the crutches back. Thanks.
Oh, nice. I've got my bone stim here if you want to take it.
I'll probably take that off you. So that will come in the next month or so. So I've got 4 weeks to do whatever, but I want to go on holiday, but everyone's either racing or works 9 to 5. So I've not really got any friends to go away with.
So the holiday, go find yourself in Thailand with every other British person.
I won't find myself back though. That's the issue. But yeah, so I'll try and enjoy.
Fly out, go see Chelsea win the World Cup.
Yeah, well, my dad said, is there anywhere you want to go? I said, Kruger Park. Yeah. He's like, yeah, it's not really in the budget. He's not wrong. But maybe go back out and watch the Tour de France again. Because it's not too far.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can almost use this as a 4 weeks to just get it all out of your system.
100%.
Because then, you know, as soon as
Yeah.
you have that surgery, you got to lock in.
Yeah, I had a drink for the first time yesterday in ages. I thought, I'm going to have to do this every night now for the next 4 weeks.
Get yourself in the worst possible shape for your surgery.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be in awful shape after it. So, yeah, but that's something to look forward to. Well, I say that. I've been through enough of them that that's a bit boring now.
But the thing is, with the timing, you've got so much time.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, when we both started running this year, it was kind of, let's take a few risks. Let's build slowly, but if you take a week off, it's suddenly all right. We've got to get moving. Whereas you going through it now, well, in a month's time, if you need a week off, you can take it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no stress.
And hey, got mentioned this morning by Sam. Next year, European champs, Birmingham. 4 years after.
Yeah.
Some say, breaking out there.
Commies.
That would be.
See you there.
That would be, that would make everything worth it.
Yeah.
And that fire will be there for that. But it's not the easiest thing to make.
It's absolutely crazy to think that Euros and Commies was 4 years ago next year.
See that? Oh, I just hate it. I know. But
that blows my mind as well.
If you said after that Commies, think how much you're going to achieve over the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And you'd have told me I've only run quicker once and I've not ran for 2 years. I just would never have believed it. But
that's why you go and win Commies.
Oh, dear.
Simple. But Folly Hall can do it, you can do it.
Folly Hall.
Kate Tung will be there.
Yeah, that's why I've got to be there to get a photo of Kate Tung on the start line.
Yeah, 100%.
So he can swing around.
We can be his fanboys for once.
I'd love to. Mate, imagine fanboying if he goes Commies of him with all the... they're going to have to get restraining orders on him because he's going to be all over the athletes.
So when Reese was up to do my session with me the other day, Kate Tung just so many questions. It was just like... Yeah.
Oh, he loves it. As soon as I'm playing Fortnite with Tamer, oh my god, Tamer, let me join. Mate, he's an awful bloke. You don't want to play with him. But yeah, a bit sidetracked. So that's kind of my situation, which still yet to have good news since starting. You've got to go, which is just like in the words of everyone, it's just Matt's aura. But maybe surgery's maybe if James Calder can inject me with some sort of aura,
he's gonna cut the bad aura out.
Yeah, suck out all the bad aura. Then then I've got.
Wait, what? Pause.
No, like out of the crater in the bone where that joint fluid is.
If you say so.
Yeah, if he can remove all the negative
choice.
Aura, then it can't get any worse, can it?
It can't.
It can. It can't. So yeah, that's pretty much us. We'll try and do a vlog for London and then probably a pod afterwards. Maybe if Luke's around, try and get him on. But he's been calling me a lot recently because one of his clients are the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
And Luke knows absolutely nothing about NFL. And as our resident NFL geek, because I'm a sports fan, I've had to try and explain the whole world of NFL in a few phone calls, which has been quite funny actually.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking, thinking,
because he knows zero.
Yeah, I'm talking and I'm thinking this is actually so complicated.
Yeah, it is.
He has no idea. So yeah, I'm now a Green Bay Packers fan.
Okay.
And I'll be following them this year.
No Patriots anymore.
No, well, that's old news. They're crap now. So yeah, well, you're kind of Patriots because of Boston.
No, it's a horrible part of America.
Oh, okay.
No one likes Boston.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never been. I don't think I will be going anytime soon either.
See you there in February for
I don't think I'll get the invite.
720.
Yeah, off of 3 weeks training after 2 years off. That would be something, wouldn't it? Well, I always wanted to do the World Cross next year in January in Tallahassee, but yeah, I won't be there for that.
It's maybe not push for things quite so soon.
Yeah,
but If you're in
The
shape,
thing
you're
is,
in
when
shape.
in that moment, when someone says, if you're knocking on the door of going to a boss and knowing you can run quickly, or knocking on the door of making a world champs team in Florida, in that moment, all you are focused on that.
Yeah.
For someone to say, look at the big picture, look in 6 months' time, it's so hard because something can go wrong.
Anything could happen, yeah.
But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, all the top guys really, it's summer or bust. And it seems like most of them,
you do also have to just take your opportunities when you can in this sport.
You do, because you don't know how many you're gonna get.
This time last year, I was racing in Monaco.
Yeah. Now you're racing. Well, you're racing in London.
Yeah.
But yeah,
only off the back of Monaco, I think.
Yeah.
But I was speaking to K-Tan last night. He was saying how Henry's win would be good for his world ranking. I said, that's a load of rubbish, that. This time last year, I was ranked 5th for 3 weeks. Guess where I'm ranked now?
Oh. 5th. Nah. Well, doesn't it take your... Are you even ranked?
No rank.
Yeah.
No rank.
The sport moves far too quickly.
And I'm also, now I think about it, I'm not sure Keely's ranked in the world at the moment.
Yeah, see,
because she hasn't raced yet.
They need to sort that out.
Yeah, like 5 races is tough.
Yeah.
So I'll have my 147th, 9th place on soon. For
is Keely racing anytime soon? Do you have any inside info on that?
No, not that I can speak on, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
But I'm sure she'll still win worlds.
Yeah,
no stress.
Well, I think would you say you take winning Olympic gold for the next year to be plagued by injury, and you'd probably say yes.
I mean, she's probably still in better shape than I think Mo and Mary Mora, who came last and second last in the pre-classic.
It's nuts.
Yeah,
but yeah. So I think that's all. To be honest, we're gonna have to see a big. You've got to go. We need to try and get a few. You've got to go banners and signs for London.
Yeah.
Because again, that's every banner's worth 1/10 of a second.
Yeah.
So we see 100 banners. You're running 10 seconds for them.
Yeah. So let's go for 200.
Yeah. Yeah. Posters, shouting. Imagine if you could actually hear a whole stadium like "You've got to go" as you swing around the 100.
Just rapping the song.
In lane 4.
That's what we need.
Maybe we need to release it as a single for next week. Well, depending when this comes out for this week, but yeah. See, that makes me want to be there. But we'll see. Yeah. Right. Thanks for listening, watching.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Yeah. Cheers.